Today, we're going to dive into a connection that you might have never really thought about, and that's the link between the health of our planet and our own personal health. So let's just start with a question. What in the world does a shrinking forest or a shift in where animals live actually have to do with whether you or I get sick? The answer is, well, it's probably not what you think. The short answer, pretty much everything. And these connections, as we're about to see, are way deeper and way more critical to our survival than we ever really imagined. And this gets us right to the heart of the issue, what you could call a connected health crisis. We keep seeing more and more of these diseases that seem to just pop up out of nowhere, but they all share a very similar origin story. And that origin story starts with these ecological drivers. Think about it. When we cut down forests, leaving these little isolated patches of wilderness, that's habitat fragmentation. Or when climate change forces animals to move into new areas, we are basically rolling out a welcome mat for diseases to jump from wildlife straight to us. See, these aren't just environmental issues anymore. They are public health emergencies just waiting to happen. So, if the problem is all about how things are connected, well, it only makes sense that the solution has to be too. And that brings us to this really cool new approach called the One Health solution. Look, the old ways of dealing with health crises, they just aren't going to cut it anymore. We can't have doctors working in one silo over here and environmental scientists in another over there, and they never talk to each other. We need a totally new way of thinking. And this is it. One Health is a simple but honestly revolutionary idea. It's this deep understanding that you just can't have healthy people without healthy animals and a healthy environment. They're like the three legs of the same stool. Take one away and the whole thing collapses. And this really shows you the difference in strategy. The old way was all about being reactive, right? Everything was separate, siloed, and you were always playing catch-up, responding to an outbreak after it already started. The One Health approach flips that script. It's proactive. It's collaborative. It's all about getting ahead of these health threats before they can even get off the ground. So, if we're building this brand new interdisciplinary dream team to protect global health, who do you think is one of the most important players? The answer might actually surprise you. This is where the ecologist comes in. This quote just nails it. Ecologists are the ones who are experts on these connections. They're the ones who understand that complex web of life and can see how one tiny change in one corner of an ecosystem can create these massive cascading effects everywhere else. A really great way to think about them is as disease detectives, but for the whole planet, right? If a new disease is a mystery that needs solving, the ecologists are the detectives out there at the scene of the crime, looking for clues in the environment and piecing together how it all went down. Okay, so if they're these planetary detectives, what do they actually do? Well, that brings us to our next section, the ecologist's toolkit. What are the specific tools and skills they're bringing to the table with this whole One Health idea? Let's break it down. Okay, first and foremost, so much of their work is about prediction. They start by analyzing those drivers we just talked about, like how land is being used. Then they're out in the field, monitoring animal populations, looking for any signs of trouble. All of that data gets fed into developing these incredible early warning systems that can flag a potential threat to public health officials long before it ever gets close to our communities. But just collecting data, that's only half the story. The real magic happens when they put that knowledge into action. An ecologist's job goes way beyond the field and the lab. They're basically translators, helping veterinarians and public health officials and even social scientists all speak the same language. They're educators, working with local communities to teach them why environmental stewardship matters. And they're advocates, helping fight threats like the illegal wildlife trade and shaping policies that can protect both the environment and our health at the same time. So let's zoom out for a second. We've talked about what they do and how they do it. But why does all of this matter so much, especially right now? Here's the bottom line. It's about taking environmental science from being this niche, fringe thing and putting it right at the center of our global health strategy. The work ecologists do isn't just a side project anymore. It's absolutely fundamental to keeping us all safe. And the stakes here, well, they could not be higher. This One Health way of thinking, with ecologists helping to lead the charge, is now totally vital for everything from pandemic preparedness and global health security to food safety and even fighting antimicrobial resistance. I mean, these are some of the biggest challenges our species is facing.
And that really leads us to the most important takeaway of all. For way too long, we've thought about protecting the environment as something optional or separate from protecting ourselves. That time is over. The health of our planet is not just a conservation issue. It's a human survival issue. Period. Which leaves us with a really big question to think about. If our health is so fundamentally tied to the health of our ecosystems, then maybe, just maybe, protecting our planet is the single most powerful form of public health we have. Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.